GM. We are live again. It is a beautiful Monday, October 13th, and we're back at it again. Not quite the same Victory Monday as was last week, but that's okay. Had a strong week over at the other school, not on the dog app. Things went well over on DK. Not as great on Underdog, and I was trying to figure out why, because I felt like I had pretty good exposures. I felt like we had a good process, and I realized it was A-Chain. I had a soft A-Chain fade, and him at the sort of 1-2 turn was pretty much who you needed in that area. I think I had said that I thought you could take Jacobs at the 1. That actually proved correct. I think he was the top scoring running back. At least he was in that range of the first 4. So I was overweight Jacobs, but I was underweight A-Chain. Net effect is I didn't have the greatest week, not a complete washout, but again, these prizes are so top heavy. If you don't nut out, you're going to struggle, especially in the main BR. And we didn't really have much of a sweat there. Things were much better over on DraftKings, where I was heavy on Dowdle, I was heavy on Jacobs, and so I had some, and Lad, and those really worked out. The other thing I had wrong is I was way too heavy on Lad. On Underdog, I just really liked the spot, and I think their first 3, I unplugged my monitor. I think their first 3 drives ended in field goal, so it was just like, it was kind of a frustrating watch. It seems like you could kind of move the ball at will against the Dolphins, and they like moved it at will, but too late for Herbert to get there. Lad got there in the end, especially again on DraftKings, where he hit exactly 100 yards, so he hit the bonus. So he had a much bigger day over there between being full PPR and the bonus. But good morning to you, Chris. Thanks for coming in, hanging out. Your last Eliminator team marches on. That's awesome. I have one Elim team left, and maybe that's a good place to start. I think now. Here, let me switch tabs here. I think that BBMDB is a little bit cocky here, saying I'm 99% to advance. Yes, I'm up 40, but I'm pretty much done. I think I am done. Oh no, I guess I have Keon Coleman still, but he has Daniels left to play, so he's probably going to improve upon 9.3 from Stafford. He still has James Cook and DeAndre Swift, so he's likely to improve from 4 from Dobbins and Hunt. And then his issue was he had a bad luck here in the wide receiver department. This team was very good, especially coming into the week. It had Puka. Puka, of course, got injured. We'll get to that in a moment. I wanted to segue to the Eliminator stuff. And then tight end, he has Loveland. I don't know if Loveland's going to outscore Kelsey. Anyway, if he gets 20 points from Cook, if Daniels improves on Stafford and Swift does anything, I could see him gaining 40 points. I don't think it's likely. I think I'm heavily favored. I did 99% just seems, I think if you ran this 100 times, he gets there, 5 to 10 times would be my kind of estimation, because I should also improve on one of my scores with Garrett, with Keon Coleman. So hopefully this team does survive. My big Elim team died yesterday. I don't think I have anyone left, and I'm out of the money. So big Eliminator dreams are over. Yes, DraftKings is the other school. You can always say how well things are going over there, and no one can fact check you quite as easily. But it was a better slate over there. Hey Joel, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in. Likewise, Jake Binniger. Good morning. Appreciate you hanging out, and happy Monday. Says go AZ Cards. So, is it truly a happy Monday? Because we had some injuries. We had some injuries, and they're guys that I have somewhat heavy exposure to. Garrett Wilson was one of my stands. In addition to that game being a nightmare, and the Jets ending up with, once you put sacks in there with negative 10 passing yards, it means a few things. One, Garrett Wilson, nightmare day. Justin Fields, we'll see if that's the end of the line for him. I mean, I think they're atrociously coached. I mean, it's a tough matchup, right? Playing in London against Denver, obviously that's tough. But at a certain point, they're likely to move on to Tyrod, unfortunately.
I guess it sort of depends. I mean, I thought he was kind of bench proof because you know what Tyrod is. So like, what's kind of the point? Just kind of let everything play out. I think Fields is a great locker room guy, but at a certain point, these coaches are going to lose their job. They're going to feel like they have to make a change, and I could see that being kind of the last we see of Fields. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I didn't watch the post game press conference, but just the vibe is not good. Garrett Wilson got injured, hamstring injury, so he'll probably miss the next 2 to 3 weeks, as is somewhat typical. Likewise, Emeka Egbuka, unfortunately, that stinks to see because such an exciting rookie, really fun player. I think he's a very high advance rate piece for a lot of people. He hurt his hamstring as well. So again, the timeline with those has been 2 to 3 weeks. The other issue with hamstrings, of course, is they're generally high re-injury risk. So, they come back in 3 weeks. They could easily get hurt again. This is really any of these guys who have had these injuries, not limited to those two, but just, it's a little unfortunate. I hope it doesn't derail his season. But that is not great there. And same with Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley also hamstring injury. So a few guys that I was kind of heavily on got hurt. And then lastly, Puka. We don't know what it is. Some kind of foot injury. I think because the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, have a week 9 bye. I haven't heard. I feel like there's a reasonable chance he sits. Now he likes to play through as much as possible. I know he has a little bit of a injury prone designation, but he does try to tough things out. If it's up to him, I think he'll go. But I could see them trying to play it safe. They're a team with playoff Super Bowl aspirations. I wouldn't be surprised if he misses next week to get healthy. Haven't heard either way. Just something to keep an eye on. I don't want to flood the bags if it's if he practices on Wednesday, then obviously we're not going to worry. But until then, slight bit of concern there. So we will see. That was MHJ got a concussion. He'll be back either next week or the week after. Obviously, concussions are a serious injury, but it shouldn't be. It doesn't seem like anything that'll be long term there. Mike says if we keep sending these horrible games to Europe, these tariffs will get worse. Yes, and they probably should. They probably deserve it at that point. Because, man, I can't imagine paying. I mean, I didn't even have to pay to watch that game, and I felt like the NFL should send me a refund. 4 weeks in a row, my Cardinals lost last second. It's a typical Monday. Well, go easy, Cards. You're looking for sympathy from a Dolphins fan, and so I think if we could trade rosters, I think we would do it. So let me know. Is Wilson's injury a hamstring or hamstring? He just looked so miserable out there. Like Garrett Wilson just looked like I want to be anywhere but this. Fields missed him on a few, easy first down. The Jets had no business being like in that game, and they were in it. I don't really even understand. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare on all fronts. So we'll see. I hope. I don't know what I hope. I hope he's not hurt, but I also hope he's not faking it because that's not great either. So not the best. Let's see. Were there any other? I'm trying to think. I wrote down some notes. I think those were the injuries that I had noted there that happened. I guess the other thing was Jennings. Jennings played, Juwan Jennings, and then after the game, he said he was playing with 5 broken ribs. I mean, dear God, that's nuts. Kendrick Bourne had another massive game, but kudos on Jennings for playing through that. That shows pretty high dog levels. Greg says, sure, Fields is not doing great. Yeah, I agree, Greg. I think it's the coaching staff just has no idea what they're doing. And I think Fields is someone that needs like an elite coach to get the most out of him. I don't know like what the ceiling on that is, but we're getting like the floor. So it's not good. Greg says, and the O-line was supposed to be good. Guy got eaten alive surrounded in the backfield. I agree that it wasn't all on Fields. Fields didn't do himself any favors, for sure. But Fields does take a lot of sacks, but it did feel like you're right. Like so many times he had the ball and there was nobody open. Like they would show the angle from behind. Like what's he supposed to do? So we will see. We will see. Mike says, based on post-game interviews, Wilson wasn't happy with the coach's decisions to end the game. That's why he was arguing. Yeah, I could
I'm a Dolphins fan, and I was frustrated on behalf of the Jets, and that takes a lot because I don't like the Jets. I think I actively root against them, and I'm like, okay, this is as like a human, this is tough. This will be the last game where people insist Justin Fields is a starting QB in the NFL. I can't imagine the mental gymnastics to believe other. Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen that he's like, you're not like, what do you? Okay, James, I guess the issue is like a starting QB means like a lot of things. Like, I don't think he could be a starting QB on a contender, but I think there's probably only about 8-ish quarterbacks that you could like win a Super Bowl with. I mean, 8, I'm just throwing a number out there, but it's definitely not 32. You know, like, it's not like there's a quarterback waiting in the wings that could take a team to the Super Bowl. So it's like, I guess it just depends what a team is trying to do. But yeah, I don't think any team with like serious aspirations is going to be starting Justin Fields anytime like in the future. Greg, I don't know. I just drafted a bunch of A-Rich this year. I'm sure he'll be back on the field. I'm sure I'll be back on Fields in the 170s. Yeah. Yeah, I can't help it. Yeah. Well, I mean, A-Rich, I guess I didn't mention the injury. He broke his orbital with one of those like resistance snap bands, which that sounds so painful. I always get scared of those bands, like working out. I don't like using them, but apparently A-Rich doesn't know how to use them because he broke his face. I hope he heals up, because that is a absolutely brutal way to injure yourself. Darkside Dev, Justin Fields will finish the year. I doubt hey, Darkside Dev, I hope that is true, because I have large bags of Justin Fields in all formats. So yeah, it was it's a good week. I don't know. James says, I don't know. You're right, Dev. The Jets don't mind losing. Yeah, I guess the big winner was probably the Patriots. I mean, Drake May looked great yet again. Saints defense not awesome, but Drake May teams smashed everywhere. Was not often paired with Butte, but I think he was in the winning dog bowl lineup. He was super low owned and everything. But, everyone went back to Diggs, and this week it was a booty week. I don't know how sticky that's going to be, but Drake May got home. Jake says teams need to stop giving defensive coordinators head coaching jobs. It rarely works out when with someone like Fields, you need an offensive-minded head coach. Yeah, Jake, I don't know the delineation well enough to know like who's calling what there, but whoever's responsible for the offense. Because some coaches, like, you'll see if a coordinator gets promoted to head coach, then they turn over the part they're unfamiliar with, like, entirely to the OC. I don't know exactly the way the Jets are doing it, but, he definitely seems in over his head, just in, like, all aspects of the game. A-Rich is the player version of how my underdog year has gone from best ball to season. Oh, no. Yeah, that's brutal, Mike. That's brutal. Hey, it's still early. Things can turn around. I mean, so many injuries. We're going to see advance rates change quite a bit, especially if any of these things kind of linger on. I wonder if we're going to see QJ next week. It is very tough. I signed up for a playbook earlier, mostly because I wanted to look at the draft board because I was curious. So many injury spots, and then it fired like 20 minutes later, and I had to do one, and I was unprepared for class. But so many injury spots, and we'll hop into one, and we could see what's going on. The Monday night slate is fantastic. I actually want to get in a few hurry ups before this fills. So if anyone wants to hop in, maybe we'll segue. We'll ease into the slate. We'll ease into things. I'm going to hop into a playbook, and we can talk about tonight's games and see how that's going. So we're in at the 3-hole. This is a great slate. You don't have to worry about quarterback. I mean, if you want an elite one, you can get one. But if you end up with Penix or Caleb, I think that's fine. It's not like those weeks where the fourth quarterback is truly awful. Tight end is deep enough. You got Kincaid, Pitts, Ertz, and Cole Kmet. If you want to take the chance on Loveland, you can. If you want to take the chance that Dalton doesn't play, or just Dawson Knox generally gets a little bit of work
even when Kincaid's healthy, you can pick up Dawson Knox. So tight end's not like a complete and utter wasteland. It's not amazing, but it's not like a horror show, and there's not one tight end you feel like you really got to race to. Wide receiver gets a little tough. Wide receiver, there are definitely a few decision points. I'm playing it like Debo's playing, but if he misses, then the ancillary Washington pieces become more intriguing, as does, I think, Zach Ertz, who I think is a fine play regardless. But you can start getting into your lanes and your McCaffreys if you need to down there. Darnell Mooney is missing. Ray McLeod hasn't really done a whole heck of a lot over there in Atlanta. And then I don't even know. I was going to say Daryl Hodge. I wasn't even sure if he was in the pool. I don't know how that's going to flow down past, but they certainly are going to be in a game script with some passing. So if you want to take a punt on a late Falcons player, you can. So this one, we see Rome Odunze going at the 2. That's definitely odd. I will take... See, when I found myself in the spot, I'm a little agnostic to Fields versus Allen. So I'll take a James Cook share, and then I'll take one of the elite quarterbacks next, I think. So, yeah, and Chris notes the truth that you only need one to have a great best ball season. Absolutely. So we'll do a Jaden Daniels team here. So we got Cook and Daniels. Yeah, I mean, it takes literally one team to make or break the entire season with how how top heavy the prizes tend to be. Steven notes a lot of wide receiver injuries. Yeah. So the Puka foot thing again. I don't have any medical information. I know he came back in. He kind of played through it. It was kind of a weird game. No one truly got home. Kyron had a good enough game. Devontae Adams didn't do a lot. I lean towards him sitting, but maybe that's just me being cautious with the bye week coming up after. But we'll see. I think we'll get more. I think we should get some more information. I haven't looked. I don't think they're on the main slate. Rams weeks. The Rams. Yeah. Okay. The Rams are the London game against the Jags, so they're not on the main BR slate. They'll be on an island game. So that'll be more for people playing the primetime slates and showdown DraftKings for at least for the daily games, which is kind of nice for us, to be honest, because it's just like a layer of uncertainty we can avoid. And some people like those uncertainties because you can build super teams and play Q tags and all those sort of things. But all right, we're coming back up. We have no wide receivers. Wide receivers gotten a little thin here. We have someone go Odunze Debo, which is a little weird. Then they take Shakir. So do we want DJ Moore? Do we want Keon Coleman? I'm thinking all right, let's lean into this game environment. Let's take DJ Moore. Obviously, I'm a little worried that he's going to get his lunch eaten by Luther Burden. So maybe we take Luther Burden as well, and we just fade Rome Odunze. This seems kind of a weird little team we're building. Let's take Luther Burden here. We'll go Daniels, Cook, and then Moore and Burden. Try to get a little off of the kind of ADP train. I think my preferred pass catcher is going to be Zach Ertz at this point. If we don't get Zach Ertz, it's not the end of the world, but I did kind of want this little double Chicago pieces, but not with Caleb. We'll try to play this a little different. James noting this week where Puka was supposed to be the ultimate smash, we are reminded of the only downside to this game, health concerns. Yeah. It's so brutal. Oh yeah, another big thing. Rashee Rice back next week. He is back. He is on the main slate, I believe. So Rashee Rice Nation in utter delirium. So we'll see. Yep. Egbuka with the hamstring. Brutal, Steven. So brutal, James, knowing there's no way Puka's flying to London this week. Yeah, I forgot that element too, that they would have to go to London. So we'll see what happens. Again, personally would be surprised if he plays, but there are very high levels of dog in one Puka Nacua. The Gale noting, I want all the JCM in these GM. I do too. I actually considered going Cook JCM and just saying I'll take whatever quarterback comes if neither of the elites separate. And if I do a lot of these, I will build some like that. So I'm with you there. Let's see if this guy gives me Zach Ertz or not. He does not. That was unfortunate. So I'll just take Cole Kmet because people do have a tendency to double up on the double up tight ends in these. So we'll triple Chicago. We'll have Jaden Daniels, and then we're gonna get a little weird. And I think we'll take a McWeapon share. We'll take McWeapon. Maybe he gets a passing touchdown. This is kind of a funky lineup. I don't hate it. I don't hate it because I think the construction is going to be somewhat unique. You're not going to see this a whole heck of a lot. You might not see this a lot because it might just be utter ass. But we're going to try something different. So we got Jaden Daniels, James Cook, McWeapon, and then DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Cole Kmet. So we're onslaughting this Chicago-Washington game. We say that this Buffalo-Atlanta game is kind of a grind with only James Cook getting home. So yeah, it's a kind of different way to play this game. Steven notes right now Rice is the second rated wide receiver. Are you talking about on the BR slate? I mean, it wouldn't stun me, but Mahomes looks fantastic again. The offense is clicking, and now they get Rashee Rice back. So, I mean, I do think Rice, I think the people that think Rice is just going to carry them to the BBM finals might be a little over their skis. He's going to have some down games because just by virtue of how the Chiefs do tend to have spread the ball around. So, I mean, he just might get not a ton of catches in a given game. But that said, I mean, I don't know if he inherits the role he had last year, then this fade position I have him on him is going to be just an abject failure. Yeah, we'll see how he looks. I mean, he is coming off of a major knee injury. The offense has been functioning quite well without him. We'll see how much they disrupt it bringing him in. But I certainly will have some of him on this slate. I will not be continuing to fade him. I wish I hadn't fully faded him, but here we are. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But for now, the Rashee Rice people, I'm happy for you that you get your guy. I never want to take anyone else's joy, but I do feel like some of it might be getting a little ahead of ourselves until we see it. But then if we see it, I will fully capitulate. Yep, next week. Mike says big update on Puka. He's part Portuguese, which, as we all know, is just a 3-hour flight from London. Does he have any connection to Portugal or? Mike, I love it. I love this narrative that he really wants to get to London because it's close to Portugal. But by close, I mean it's just like closer than Los Angeles is. So I guess that's true. I don't think it's probably like a 4-hour flight or a 3-hour flight. You said so. Yep. James says, I love QJ this week's BR's depressed ADP. Colt secondary lost the 4th most fantasy points of wide receivers last 2 weeks. If he's healthy and will dog walk. Yeah. I like the first one I did. I feel like I just want to jam Lad or QJ in them. I wonder how much QJ rises if he's playing. The ADPs are pretty much useless because there's been so few slates that he might be like undrafted now. A healthy QJ, I'm imagining goes in the like 3rd or 4th round. I don't think he'll go higher, but yeah, you certainly could take him and then just play the Q tag game like early in the week. I'm down bad. Oh no, Mike. Well, we'll see. I hope it's not serious. James says that's another point. I think QJ's ADP remains suppressed by the Lad game. Yeah. I mean, I think we were all, us Lad folks, were very relieved by him kind of getting home last week. All right, let's see. What do we got? Let me see. Let's hop into a playbook. We'll do a few more of those primetime ones. Oh no, I didn't do the timestamps.
I don't know when I started that other draft. All right, let's see. All right, we're waiting for 4 if anyone wants to get in this one. Also, by the way, I have not asked. If you can like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. We're here early on a Monday morning, going through, looking at the slate for the first time. Some of these things I'm going to be figuring out together. My thoughts aren't fully organized, so I'm doing my best. Feel free to call me out or ask anything, and we'll learn this together. We'll learn this together because these are fun. Intro and lineup reviews. I didn't really review any lineups, but that's okay. I don't think people click on the 0 one anyway. Dear God. Intro and injury reviews. All right. Prime time, hurry up. And now we are 25. All right. Playbook 1. All right, sweet. All right, we got the intros. We got the timestamps. Rolling Sladen. What are we playing? And GM, this is a playbook. This is a playbook. So we're waiting for 4 if anyone wants to get in. Let's look kind of position by position. I think it's a little easier to see what's going on. So we got a huge gulf between Jaden Daniels and the next few quarterbacks here. Again, there have been so few rooms. Does this show how many people are in this? Yeah, 151 entrants. So we've had whatever 151 divided by 6 is, which is like 25 or something like that, or 20. It's more than 20, but less than 30. So there you go. So not very many rooms. We're talking about, we got Daniels near 5. We got Hurts down at 20. Mahomes at Hurts at 22. Mahomes at 21. Feels a little wide to me, just off the top of my head, seeing Daniels that much more than Hurts. But then again, Hurts has to play the Vikings and Daniels plays Dallas, so maybe that is fair. We got Drake May against Tennessee. I could see that coming up. I think people love Drake May and the Titans defense, not good. Dak on the other side against Washington. That's super fun. Washington's defense, not great. Herbert, again, disappointed against Miami last week, but being tied to QJ and or Ladd, he'll get some ownership for sure. And then down there, you'll get a smattering of stacking partners. Daniel Jones is fun, but it seems like he might get lost in the shuffle. He did have a rushing touchdown. What was his Final Fantasy numbers? Yeah, kind of middling, 23. Didn't kill you, but wasn't needed and got kind of dusted by Drake May. Bryce Young against the Jets. Nah. Yeah, again, no one's drafted Jordan Love yet in these because we've had so few rooms. So, all right. So interesting over there. Quarterback, running back. There was one at running back that immediately stood out, and that was Cam Scatterbo at 30.8. I think this is going to be fake. There's no way he's even against Denver. That ADP is foolish. And if he's actually going at 30 all week, I will literally have 100% Scatterbo because that just doesn't seem right to me. But otherwise, we start at the top. We got Taylor, Jacobs, A-Chain in the top 5. Sure. I think that's fine. Cleveland, a bit of a tough matchup, but they have constructed the plane out of A-Chain. And then the next round, Saquon. Judkins disappointed, but he had a very tough matchup. I think at home against the Dolphins, Tua came out and said that players are missing players-only meetings. It seems like the Dolphins are circling the drain. Another kind of emotional loss. I'm happy to go back to Judkins. I'm not super happy to go back at pick 7. That feels really early. But then again, BRs are much less of an ADP game and more of a combinations game. I suppose if we go through these, I did want to touch on the winning BR lineup because there was a hair of controversy around it because it was a super team. It was one of the true super teams that you see. And let me try to find the combination. It was the only one that had a combination of 4 players, and you just couldn't get this combo. And so, let me see, who was it? It was,
I know it was it involved Jacobs. Let me see. Trying to find the discussion around this one. Oh, I guess I could just bring up. Please ignore the failure that was my BR results. All right, let's see. All right, this lineup by JSam. So it had Jacobs, JSN, Pickens, and Warren. And so it got Jacobs at pick 9, and he was going at pick 4. It got JSN at pick 4, which was, one pick ahead at ADP. Then it got Pickens at 16. It got Tyler Warren at pick 28. And it got Rico Dowdle at pick 21. So I think it was like the only team with like Jacobs, JSN, Pickens, and Warren. And then it also was able to get Dak at pick 33 when he was going at 17. So it was basically like a true super team. No, yeah, it was Jacobs, JSN, and Pickens. And so it was hard enough to get Jacobs and JSN, let alone I guess it was the Warren. I don't know. Anyway, it was a true super team. We've seen teams get tossed for less. I don't think I would have tossed that. I think someone had posted the full draft board and there was nothing like egregious about it, but it was one of those drafts where it was the only team with a 4-person combination. So no, Jake, I don't think it was fishy at all. I think that person just got super lucky and then hammered it and just didn't drop the baby. Like I don't think anyone did anything wrong, but it does show that they're not just going to toss drafts for unique or hard to get combinations. I think they do need some sort of evidence of malfeasance or people drafting weird. No one really did anything weird. People just kind of got their guys, and it just enabled one person to really take advantage of. So I don't have a problem with how it shook out, but it was one of those like, I wish this happened to me kind of things. But yeah, just a crazy good team, crazy great job by that JSM to put that together and take advantage of what the room gave to them. Yes, Slayton, we are beautifully bookending this draft. I see you in at the 6. I took Jonathan Taylor at the 1. We didn't get through wide receiver because I went off on a tangent, but we got Pickens, Rice. Yeah, someone noted Rice was the second wide receiver on the board. CD Lamb. See, this is already a tough position because he didn't practice all week. He was practicing off to the side with resistance bands. This is a high price to pay if the guy doesn't play. Yes, he'll get a swap, but I feel like we're kind of middling it. If he's healthy, surely he's going ahead of Pickens, I think, right? Like we haven't jumped that shark yet. I think we still universally agree Lamb over Pickens when they're both healthy, but we're kind of middling it. If he doesn't play, he shouldn't be drafted. He's a Q-tag swap, and you're going to end up with, someone down in this range, which is not the end of the world. But it's going to be really tough to get there unless you really nut out with your swaps. Justin Jefferson against the Eagles, Dunze against the Saints, Debo. It's possible McLaurin's back, but I don't think he practiced at all last week. So I don't know. This note says he could be back. It was moved well through rehab. We'll see. I'm not super optimistic about McLaurin coming back, but that could be wrong. I'm not a huge McLaurin guy anyway, but Daniels is going to be 1,000% owned, so you're going to see people pairing them together. Jake says, what a week to get mostly front of the board Pickens, Puka, CMC, and JT. Yeah, and it turned out you really just wanted JSN. If you started like JSN Dowdle, you were JSN Jacobs. If you got that combination, you were well on your way. Sladen says him playing does not equal healthy, very decoyish. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take much Lamb this early, because like even if he moves from 11 to 7, like I don't know. I mean, I want to risk it for some super teams, but I'm with you, Slade, and I could see it being a little decoy. The other thing is, if Chuba's back, what are we doing with Rico Dowdle? I don't think you put the Dowdle genie completely back in the bottle. Jets. The Jets defense is not bad. They did a pretty good job against Harvey and Dobbins there. So I don't know. This is a very interesting slate. There's a ton of different ways we could be going here. All right, let's see. What do we want to do? McBride looked great with Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is just significantly better than Kyler for this offense. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he was able to like use what they had, which was fun. So I'll go back to the McBride. Well, I don't think I want to double up Warren and Taylor in this one. Although you could. The playbook is a little bit smaller. So I'm going to do that, and then I will scroll. I think I'll go down to my guy Scatabo here. I think I'll take that. We could go back to Javonte. His role was very good. I'm trying to see how many. We have 1, 2, 3. 3 more running backs are going to get drafted. So I guess I could pass on Scatabo now and take one of these receivers. The problem is I don't really love any of them. Maybe we'll go. You know what we'll do? We'll go Mahomes. If we don't get Scatabo, it's fine. I'm fine taking Mahomes unstacked. We'll protect the integrity. The Rice drafter, I'm sure, wanted Mahomes, but I'm good with an unstacked Mahomes. And also Worthy is going to be pretty much free. We're going to leave him for dead now that Rice is back. Worthy did not have a great game yesterday. He had an early touchdown and then wasn't super involved. But I think I'm still into Worthy. If we have to stack him later, we can. We can see where we want to go. I guess one risk is, the Raiders might not keep this game close enough, long enough to where we really are going to need Mahomes to get there quickly. So we'll see. But this is now a couple weeks in a row where Mahomes has been absolutely lightning in a bottle. So we'll let that roll. James says Justin Jefferson is free. Nice surprise. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should have just taken Justin Jefferson there, right? Might have been a mistake there. Again, we're feeling these out. We're feeling these out, James, with the playbooks. Just trying to get a feeling of how the teams all look. Sladen, I was more than willing to take Judkins versus Miami. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I was hoping, or am hoping, he dips more, because his ADP is like 7 in this. Yeah, and you took him at 6. If he falls, I'm going to be taking a whole heap of Judkins here. Genty against KC's fine, but again, we're hoping that game stays somewhat close. The usage has been a little bit annoying yesterday with Mostert. Like, why are we playing Raheem Mostert? Like, just give Genty the ball. Joel says even with Chuba's back, Dowdle ain't going to go up against Miami and Dallas at home every. Yeah, that is the other thing. It will be tougher days. It will be tougher days ahead than 2 of the worst defenses in the league. Slate noting there's quite an assortment of usable QBs in the slate. Yep, this is a fun. I already think I'm going to like this slate. I mean, we've had Daniels and Mahomes go off the board, and there's still Hurts, May, Dak, and Herbert. Like, if you can wait until round 6 and take Justin Herbert, you cannot say this is a bad QB slate, let alone like fun. So Sladen takes my guy. That's okay. I'm going to get plenty of Scatabo this week. I'm not worried. That's not including like a fun click like Jackson Dart. Obviously, the matchup against Denver is not fun. Bo Nix on the other side of that game. Caleb against the Saints. I think Caleb might come up just because of Dunze's so high owned. I think you're going to get Caleb dragged up a little bit. I'm sure he's going to end up ahead of Dart, because I don't think Dart has great stacking partners. So I think you're just by nature gonna have him pull up, but probably not that high. probably not that high. James says, or excuse me, noting to Joel, considering tougher matchups, out of control height, possible return of Chuba, no more 30 touch games. Dowdle seems like a red herring. Yeah, I think he's going too high. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those, if Chuba misses again, I don't want to spend the first 3 days of drafting like getting none of him and then frantically trying to catch up at a higher price. So I see it. I think it just depends on your risk tolerance. Like, what are you more afraid of? Like having teams that are suboptimal because you have Dowdle in a split backfield, or having no Dowdle and then missing out on some pairings. I think that's kind of how you want to play it. And I'm trying to glean more information about how close Chuba is going to be to returning from this. Yep, Jake noting that Igbuka's going to miss time. Yes, he will. That is unfortunate. They should be getting Mike Evans back soon. Speaking of hamstring injuries, it's kind of a nightmare over there. So somehow we missed like all of the running backs. I thought there was someone else I liked. I mean, Dobbins is fine. We could buy the dip on Diggs. I don't think that's horrible. I guess I'll take Diggs and Worthy, and then we'll see if there's we'll just take Worthy here to make sure we get that part of the stack. Tennessee's defense not good. Everyone is probably going to be out on Diggs again because people keep trying to catch the falling knife, and we'll take him there. And so then late running back. So everybody's taking a running back. Everyone has 2 running backs in this room. So whoever we want, we get. So, Vidal against Indy. How many carries? He had 18 carries. Clearly the guy against Haskins. Now the problem with Vidal is the Chargers are live to add somebody in the middle of the week. Like, there is a non-zero chance they take, they do something, and then all these early Vidal shares are going to be awful. Jordan Mason free against Philly. I don't hate that. I don't hate that, especially if he's going to be like completely unowned and we've just forgotten about him. I would scroll down there. 0 people taking Ramondre. He had a bad game, but he still got the bulk of the carries. 13 for 18. I mean, dear God. Travion, he only had 9 for 27 with 1 reception. So pretty tough sledding against this Saints run defense. Michael Carter had a weird split with Bam Knight. That got reported late that Bam Knight was going to start. It ended up being, I think, pretty close to 50-50. Bam Knight got in the end zone. I don't think either of them are in play for the 6 persons. I think if when Dog Bowl goes live, we'll see if anyone is brave enough to delve into those depths. But I think right now Vidal will be my pick. Again, no one can take him. So we are good. All right, let me catch up with the chat. Of course, Fields could get 25 fantasy points in a 13-17 loss. Yep. Fields is definitely someone to sprinkle into these if he's still starting without Garrett, and James noting without Garrett. Yeah, I mean, maybe we see Mason Taylor pick up a little steam if he has to rely on him. Josh Reynolds, I think, is the next man up. It's a little sweaty for a 6 person, but you could, if you don't end up with a super team, you got to do other weird stuff. So maybe. Slated says, I'm not certain what a slappy is, but I know the slappies would make sure Rico Dowdle for never for any reason go cheap before week 12. I'm trying to think if this is true, but I do agree that that it is going to be hard to get cheap Rico Dowdle for a while. I agree with the thesis there. Chris says Chuba hasn't been good. I have Chuba in my main dynasty and he's now unstartable. Yeah, I think Chuba is tough to start. If we think Fields can get there without Garrett Wilson, then we should want more Breece and Mason Taylor. Yep, I think that's a reasonable thesis there. Steven says, what about Vidal? Had a good game. Looks like maybe the one for the Chargers. Yeah, I'm going to take the shot on Vidal. We're early in the week. It's a playbook. I'll take a virtually unowned Vidal there. I think Dobbins would be a fine click. This is literally the maximum amount of tight ends that can be drafted. Nobody went 3 wide receiver in this room. I could go 3 wide receiver as well. But I mean, could I take QJ here? We talked about him earlier. I think it was James. James high on him. I don't think that would be a bad click, but I'll take this. I'll take this. Yes, I have 2 running backs going against each other. No, I don't really care that much. Whoops. Craig says Ford would look real nice in blue and white. Oh gosh. The Jerome Ford the Jerome Ford people. You guys. I applaud it. And I feel like there is a dedicated community of Jerome Ford truthers. So this team ends up being Mahomes, Taylor, Vidal, Diggs, Worthy, and Trey McBride. I think that's a fine enough team. Let's see what Sladen did. Sladen went Caleb, Judkins, Scatabo, Odunze, Tet, and Tyler Warren. Yeah, Sladen, I really like this team. This looks like something, a team I could see myself ending up with at some point. I think this Rome-Caleb combo is nice. Again, I think Caleb's going to come up because this is such a nice stacking partner. The Saints pass defense, just made Drake May look like a Hall of Famer. No offense to Drake May. No, I mean, not taking a shot at May, but that defense was not good. And then Scatabo, Judkins. No notes, Sladen. I hope you take it down. All right, Mike noting, have you checked your guillotine league? Either Pete or the guy who won last year got eliminated, and the dude on the bubble has a great set of players to bid on. I did check. I was comfortably survived this week thanks to Cam. Scatabo, I think it's the guy who won last year. I think he has no PMR and he's in last, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's out. I think Pete is safe. But yes, he has some good running backs that I will be placing bids on. Sladen. Chuba is good enough to ruin Rico's Fowdle. Think of Chuba like Gainwell or Ramondre, involved enough to be a fantasy terrorist. Yeah, Sladen, it might make it tough for everybody. I think Dowdle's gonna ultimately settle into that like next tier of BR running backs. Like I think on a normal week he's gonna end up with an ADP of 22.5, something like that, where those running backs that aren't getting the full workload, but you still want because they have spiky upside, but not in like rounds 1 and 2. That's kind of where I think he'll end up. Steven says Fannin and Mayer had good games and nice number of Hey, Steven, I agree. Njoku got injured. I didn't note that earlier. He got hurt and is apparently on the trade block. Sounds like the Fannin bet wheels up. Dylan Gabriel appears to like throwing to his tight ends. I would be buying Fannin in all formats. He's not on this slate. Where are the? Yeah, he is on this slate. So I think very deep tight end pool. I mean, this ADP is fraudulent. This has got to come up. But I think the reason it hasn't is, look, we got, okay, McBride should go ahead of him. Warren should go ahead of him. Ferguson should go ahead of him. Kraft should go ahead of him. And then it's like, Goddard should probably go ahead of him too, because he's getting those like pop pass scam touchdowns. And it appears this new Philly offense is very in on Goddard. And then Mason Taylor. I would probably put him there at tight end 6, but Travis Kelce went undrafted. Ertz went undrafted. We haven't seen Ertz play, but I could see him being in for a good game and popping. So, yeah. I mean, I just sort of took for pro forma that these 4 and then Goddard should be ahead of him. If you want to argue that Fannin should be ahead of him, I think I would listen. I don't know if I'd agree, but I would be willing to see the vision and not like, tell you you're an idiot or anything. But definitely want to be mixing some Fannin in for sure. And Michael Mayer looked great too, and he's even freer than Fannin. I don't think anyone's taken him yet, right? Yeah, nobody in the entire playbook has taken Michael Mayer. So again, another guy heavily involved in the offense, probably gonna have a trailing game script. I think we should be taking some of that too. All right, let's see. James says could turn into the Cardinals backfield. I mean, talented players, but still. Oh, you're talking about the Panthers backfield. Yeah, it could turn into an utter mess. Chris, a Ford trade frees my Samson bags. Let's do it, Cleveland. Yeah. Oh man, Stamson was out there for a few plays. I don't remember the exact breakdown, but I do remember him being in the game a little bit. James says Fannon's ADP will rise as people realize Jokic is probably going to miss. Yeah, but again, James, I think we're insulated by like when you end at craft here, like really strong tight end options, and then the next sprinkle guys. I think in the 6 persons, he might remain a value. I think he's not going to end up above the 5th round, and at that point, most people are filling out their rosters, and so I think he's going to be essentially free all week, or darn close to it. Chris says Goddard, the only Philly pass catcher slow enough. Jalen Hurts can't hit him. Yeah, I don't know why they keep giving him the scam touchdowns when they have like 3 malcontents, and then you have Goddard, who is like happier than anyone. Like, run that stupid pop pass to AJ Brown. Like, get him a touchdown. The guy doesn't care about winning the Super Bowl. He cares about like his stats. Like, I don't know about Goddard. Maybe Goddard's secretly the biggest malcontent, so that's why they keep feeding him. I don't know, but I doubt it. Yeah, Sladen noted, Chris speaks the truth. Well, taking 2 free guys passes up a wide receiver or running back up top. Are you talking about like if you take Fannin and a quarterback late, then that's like, I think you can make super teams. Like, I don't know how much of Mahomes in round 3. I feel like that's almost starting to middle it. Like, I'm not getting like the elite quarterback, but then I'm not benefiting from stuff, and I have Kamini Vidal on the team. That doesn't seem that I don't think this lineup is great, but it's also the second lineup I built all week. So we're figuring it out together. Steven says I have plenty of McBride and Warren. Yep. Absolutely agree. Sladen says one thing I definitely noticed is wide receiver gets pretty rancid by ADP 25. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you have McLaurin kind of playing the Q-tag game. You have me taking Worthy and Diggs. Like, I don't know about rancid, but like you're looking at the sell by date and you're wondering if like 3 days after is still safe or you need to like throw it out. So we're Googling it and we're checking the FDA guidelines. But yeah, it's not the best. I mean, it is a little hard to look at like Waddle, even with a tough matchup, and AJ Brown again with a tough matchup, as like truly horrible. There are some of these guys who I think are clickable down here. Oh, Jacoby, like, you want a really disgusting click? Like, I think some people are going to tell themselves Io Manor with Ridley out is worth a click. I'm not going to tell you it's not. I think he's more of a dog bowl play for me, but you know, it wouldn't shock me if he got home a little bit. So I think there's some places we can get clever here. Steven talking about Daniels. Yep, gotcha. Yeah, Daniels is going to have to separate with how he's priced there in all likelihood. Yeah, Steven agreeing with Slade, and Chris has 3 no Badgers in this draft. I mean, the Playbook streets are where it's at. All right, let's see. All right, let's hop in another Playbook. Let's try that again. It's snap filled. Sorry, I was hoping we could get some more folks in here, but this one's snap filled. Let me, and I don't think I see anyone in here. All right, let's see. Comet Lee is in here. Comtally is in here. I feel like they've been in the chat, but I don't remember. Anyway, all right, I'm doing the timestamps. 40. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do. It helps me out. It helps the channel keep on rolling and doing these streams. But really appreciate y'all hanging out. Hope you're having some fun. I'm learning the slate along with you guys and gals. I have so much fun doing this. Last team, it's not the best, but that's what you get on this channel. You occasionally get the clunker draft, but we can instantly kind of autopsy it if it's and see what we can do better. Joel notes, your friendly and not depressing reminder that after this week, best ball regular season will be half over. I truly can't believe it. I can't believe we're this close to best ball playoffs. And yeah, Chris says halfway to drafting playoff best ball. Joel saying true. That's a sobering thought, says Sladen. Yeah. Again,
I Chris, I really want next year, and I'm not gonna use meeting the underdog people at the dog bowl for any kind of. I'm only gonna ask one thing. I'm gonna say, please, can you launch a playoff best ball tournament in the summer? That's all I want. I want the ridiculously early gauntlet. I want to see us trying to draft playoff teams in July. I think that would be really funny. So that I'm gonna pitch the idea. We'll see if we can get there, because I think it would be truly funny. All right, we're gonna skip Jaden Daniels. I really don't love these guys. I think I'm actually gonna take Pickens here, and just hope that. See, if Lamb plays, this Pickens pick stinks. Like, this is such a tough range. A-Chain, I hate the matchup. Maybe I should have just eaten it, because he's like the only thing that makes the offense work in Miami. Saquon's been not great, playing a tough matchup. Judkins, I mean, I guess we take Judkins. I don't know. I kind of panicked and took Pickens there, but it's like I almost prefer Javonte and Krusky Merritt. That's probably wrong. I don't know. This is a tough range. This is a tough first round. If you don't get Jacobs or Taylor. I don't know about Rashee Rice at the 101. That seems a little that does not seem right to me. All right. Hey, the what? Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate you. Chirath saying, just tuning in, 1-2-2-1 was dominant again after some conjecture. It could be the week for 1-1 through. No, yeah, last week was definitely a I'm pretty sure it was a 2 running back week with Jacobs, with Dowdle. You could get there with something. It's like you really just needed JSN. If you had JSN and then like a Lad or Booty or I'm trying to think of the other ones that got home, but I do think it was easier. To get there with the two running backs. All right, we're gonna take Judkins. We kind of got a stay of execution there, because I probably should have just taken it first. But anyway, we go Judkins, Pickens. I'll pull up the board. People can see what's going on. I'll try to get Scatabo in this room, or I'll probably try to take him at pick 21. We'll see if we can do that. Giga Brain Candles take playoff best ball in July. It'd be fun. It'd be so much fun. Like, and the teams would be hilarious at the end. It doesn't have to be high stakes. It can be like one of those, like, $3 20 max tournament just for the hell, just to get people talking. Like, and nothing people take seriously. It'd just be like a fun sweat at the end. Let's see. Guess what teams you think make the playoffs. Like, you try to build your team. I don't know, because like, people don't remember how kind of like dull it can get in the like true dog days of summer. Like, when we're like begging for the puppy 2, and you don't want to waste your BBM bullets, and you don't really want to do like, you join a sprint draft and it's taking an hour to fill. Like, playoff best ball. Let's go. Mike Robb says, Chad being the jigsaw murdered all our mental health, wanting an off-season playoff best ball tournament. No, I wish I had some. I wish I was a site credit pro, but unfortunately, I'm here in the trenches with you guys. I do kind of love the idea of a gauntlet draft that starts week 1. You mean drafting in week 1, or like, I'm not sure I follow. Slate and playoff July best ball sponsored by more. Yeah, Sladen. It's probably unfortunately true. All right, do we want? I think I want one of these running backs, Dowdle or Krusky Merritt. I'll take Krusky Merritt. It's not just because it's a bring back. It's because I think I'm just slightly more into that than I am Dowdle versus the Jets, although maybe that's wrong. I mean, maybe I just take Odunze and I hope I get, let's take Odunze. Oh my God, slow fingers. Oh my God. I missed it. I've brought shame to my family. The slowest finger. This is what I get for drafting on a trackpad. I deserve that. Because I wanted Scatabo. So if I take Odunze, then worst case, I probably get I definitely get one of Dowdle, Krusky Merritt, or Scatabo. So that was bad. I'm glad this wasn't the main contest. All right. Well, there we go. James going. Not sure you can break down BRs into categories based on roster construction. I think you just want the best players. Yeah, I think staying flexible with your roster is important, James. And I agree. You shouldn't go in with like a hard and fast rule. I think I generally want two running backs. Like I think in most positions, the running backs are just going to project better than the receivers, but there are cases where that's not the case, and you shouldn't just like lock into one of them. I'm scared I'm gonna like read something offensive about your law firm name. Do we cheat them and how? All right, Chris, we're safe. We're safe. I didn't want to Ron Burgundy something that was gonna get me banned on YouTube. But yes, Chris, I got you. All right, so we got Judkins, Krusky, Merritt, Pickens. There's some nice quarterbacks here in this range now. Tight ends dried up a touch, but I think I can live with that. Breece Hall is not available to me because I have two running backs. Let's do... You know what we'll do? Let's do Tucker. No. We'll take Jalen Hurts. Maybe we make an A.J. Brown team. No one's going to be drafting A.J. Brown in the playbook. So, hey, Tyler, it's going well, man. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Tyler, a.k.a. Emo Cowboy. One of the good ones. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support here. Yeah, Mike, that was tough. It's like the old bear, chased off by the younger bear. So now I don't even get salmon. I'm just on the riverbank staring at the young ones, thinking about my glory days as I slowly starved to death. Yeah, that was tough though. I did want to click Rome Odunze there, but we didn't. And now we have a Jalen Hurts team. So we got Hurts, Judkins, Krusky, Merritt, and George Pickens there. We've got A.J. Brown going undrafted in most contests. We've got Devonta Smith even more underwater. Devonta Smith, randomly will get 10 targets against Denver. I think it can be so game script depending with these guys. 6 for 80 against the Giants there. Would have hoped for a little more against what was perceived to be a good matchup. Now running into a tough matchup, but they're coming in off the mini bye. They played on Thursday. I do think I want a little bit of A.J. Brown. Question is, do we want it at the price of Tucker Kraft? We also could do Dallas Goedert and take a different wide receiver. A.J. Brown goes. Okay, that's odd. That's a little bit odd. I'll take Ladd here. I think I'm pretty into Ladd as a late round click. I'll queue up Goddard. If Goddard goes, then it's fine. I can take unstacked Jalen Hurts. I don't actually care all that much. We'll see what Bill Mallard does. Greg says the analogies are on point. Just a bunch of sad salmonless bears out here. That's yeah. No longer am I a slappy seal. I'm just a salmonless bear, just watching all the other bears. But this bear will end up with Ladd and probably Dallas Goedert, but you never know. I mean, I don't really mind this team. I think this team is fine, especially considering we didn't get Rome Odunze. I really like Rome Odunze this week. There's always a little bit of added risk drafting the guys that are playing Monday night because you absorb some level of unknown injury risk, but I don't think it's worth like not taking. We're not going to get a huge amount of volume down on Monday. We're mostly doing these to learn the slate, and if we can spike a nice finish in the playbook, that would be really cool too. Let's see. I'm almost wondering if we don't get Dallas Goedert, if instead of Kraft, we should just take like Fannin and just scroll or Michael Mayer or something like that, because Kraft is going to be pretty much 100% owned. But I think it's worth getting the stack in the Goddard, the Dallas Goedert usage here. So this team ends up being Hurts, Judkins, Krusky, Merritt, Pickens, Ladd, Dallas Goedert. This is something that everyone here is going to have pretty much 100% ownership. Maybe Ladd doesn't, but he'll be 70, 80 plus. So not the most creative team we've ever done, but I don't mind it. I think this is fine, especially for the playbook. Yeah, Greg out here sounding like a lonely dating profile. It does seem like are you just a salmonless bear? Well, try Hinge Premium. All right, we are up. Let's do oh no, it failed. The Monday night hurry up has filled. Let me make sure that's actually the case. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll do a Palooza. We'll do a Monday night Palooza. I'll hop in here. Let me get the time stamps cranking along. We are at 105. Prime time Palooza. Sweet. So Pete comes on at 10 with his portfolio review. I will be tuning into that. I might have to sign off a few minutes before 10 today, but it has been a fun stream, has been a fun morning going over these with you. I appreciate all of you out there. Appreciate all the support. We're on the road to 300 subs. I guess 250 subs first, but we will try to get there hopefully by the end of the season. Again, thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Steven notes that might be the best act with Hurts. Yeah, it definitely could be. It has been for a couple of weeks now, so we will see if that continues. All right. So we got Brohanosaurus Flex here, who I believe won the Dog Bowl qualifier. So I think that's him. Very sharp drafter. We got to 5. And what does that mean for us? That means we are going to probably be in the position to decide if we want an elite quarterback. We've seen Allen fall there. Jaden Daniels might or might not be there. So we'll see how we want to play it. We'll see what the room hands to us here. I don't think I have any particular strategy for this one. He won a BR a few weeks ago. Yeah, I think he's if it's the same guy, there's a super high volume player over on DraftKings with that same name. That is an extremely good player. So we'll take note of what he's doing in here for the prime time Palooza as we try to navigate these waters ourselves. So we got Schmilk on the clock. He's schmilking the clock. Maybe that's where he gets his name from. Winds it down. See where he goes with it. He takes Bijan at the 1.1. And we are off. And we're off. I can't recall if I think this is the last 2 Monday night week for a bit. Let me see, next week. Yeah, next week we are back to 1. No, we have 2 Monday night games. Oh, but we have the super late game. That's right. Oh, come on. We got Bucks at Lions at 7 p.m. And then we got Texans Seahawks at 10 p.m. Dear God. So next week we're going to have the same thing. 2 Monday night games. I'd be lying if I said I'm likely to stay up for Texans Seahawks. That I think I will be sleeping through that and have to catch it the following day. So let's go Odunze and Krosky Merritt. I think that's a fun way to start a team. So we'll do that. We did have the opportunity to get Jaden Daniels and we passed it up. Mike saying, Juwan Jennings getting into it with Kyle Shanahan, probably more impactful for his playing time than the ribs. Doesn't seem like it was a normal in-game disagreement. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw Demarcus Robinson got out there immediately thereafter. And then Demarcus Robinson had one of the worst drops you'll see in your life. And then they went right back to him the next play and he made a great catch and redeemed himself. But I feel like in a normal circumstance, Shanahan is so mad at him, he takes him off the field, and instead he was already so mad at Juwan Jennings that that Robinson got a second chance. Yeah, I don't know, Mike, but yeah, you definitely could be right. Shanahan can be a little bit temperamental about these sorts of things. Chris says, homemade country ham biscuits here. What'd you go with, Kendall? Today was it's McDonald's Monopoly, so we are today was a sausage McMuffin with egg day, and we did that. So it was a McDonald's breakfast morning. Craig says, was JMO just a Ben Johnson merchant? 6 for 60 is a tud, but great. Not quite what we signed up for. Honestly, Greg, I'm not complaining. I will take that over two receptions for 28 yards like we were getting. So am I concerned? Yes. I was promised a drum beat, and it turned out the drum beat was just me being beaten with drumsticks. It doesn't sound that painful, but I mean, they're kind of hard. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. But hopefully better days are coming, because it has been quite alarming, the JMO, where we were taking him versus what we're getting. But at least he's healthy. I mean, my God, Slayton, Dad, can I stay up and watch Xavier Hutchinson and Zach Charbonnet do battle? Yes, exactly, Slayton. I really want to watch Zach Charbonnet vulturing ever. Actually, Zach Charbonnet got more work last week. Slightly alarming in my opinion. Could I pass Caleb? Yes, but I think I'd rather go Caleb Ertz and just kind of lock up the kind of going a little more heavily on this Washington game, playing it through the Caleb side, taking one of each position. You don't have to go 1-1-1-1, but that's how we ended up. But I do like Caleb. I like all these pieces individually. I like them all together as kind of overstacking this game, and saying the other game kind of duds out, or no one goes truly nuclear there. But yes, Slayton, that is a game for the West Coast. They're throwing a bone to the Seattle drafters. I mean, they're already going to be up late watching their Mariners. They can they can now have the Seahawks too. Jared Goff isn't just a high volume deep passer, which hurts. JMO, yeah, Terath, I thought we were just going to get more typical usage from JMO than we have. Like, I thought we had moved past him just being the deep ball over the top merchant. I was really hoping to see him more just like traditional wide receiver stuff with some manufactured touches, and hasn't borne out. McDonald's sponsor. Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic, Chris. Mike Robb, glad I'm not the only degen at McDonald's monopoly. No, but the Baltic avenues are starting to pile up, and it's not great. It's not great. Greg said we should have. No, not to listen to Ra Campbell. Well, maybe what we need is some like squeaky wheel narrative. Like we need him to feel bad for JMO so that we all get home. Slayden noting the important part was sometimes these backfield summer disputes, both ADPs 2 rounds too high, Seattle, Chicago, Arizona, etc. Yeah, I still don't know exactly where I'd be drafting them, even knowing what I know now. Obviously they would not be drafted as far apart as they would, and Walker was too high, and Sharps was too low. So I am going to take Tyler Algier. I would have liked Luther Burden. I think that would have been my preferred pick. I think C-Rod is questionable, so that does make McNichols interesting. I'll play Algier, and then I just don't know about Ray McLeod. I'm a little unclear of what I want to do with the Atlanta side of things. I don't think I really love Josh Palmer. It's so random. I think I'd rather scroll and get somebody who's less owned, but I'm running out of time. I'll take Ray McLeod. This feels like the most punt I've ever punted off, but maybe I don't know. I don't even know what story this lineup tells. I don't feel like I just built the greatest lineup ever. I don't know how all you would have landed this plane. Maybe it's just ugly at the bottom and we're throwing darts anyway. But this team ends up being Odunze, Krusky Merritt, Caleb Ertz, and then Algier and Ray McLeod. I mean, Zacchaeus had already gone. I would have taken Burden and then Zacchaeus, but they were both already off the board. So I didn't feel like I didn't really have a great backup plan after that. We will see. Chirath notes, Coach Speak Index continually touts Dan Campbell as a reliable narrator, so Team Slappy bought in. That is true. I bought in. I to be fair, I feel like
think they're trying. I don't feel like you lied to us. I just feel like it just like not working. Slated, even Minnesota, we're happy for Mason, but not exactly thriving. Yeah, I agree there. I feel like they've had some difficult matchups. Maybe that's just my head, but yeah, we're not getting. If you told me Aaron Jones went out, I would have said, oh my God, we should have been drafting Jordan Mason in like round 4. Now I'm like, no, his ADP was probably about what it should have been. Greg, post-buy rookie bump is a myth. Big Olamide Day. Yes, our friend. Well, we'll see. We'll see, Greg. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, let's try to redeem ourselves, and then we'll get on out of here. I'm going to do one more Monday Night Football Palooza. This one snap filled. Appreciate you all. If you can, drop a like, drop a sub on the way out. We will be ripping main BRs and dog bowls tomorrow when those open up. So I'm excited for that. In the meantime, I hope this has helped at least start getting our feet wet in the slate. Talk about this fun Monday slate. Hopefully end up with something a little more fun. Maybe taking Zach Ertz there was the problem, and I should have waited till the last round to take tight end. I'm thinking maybe this one I try to push the tight end till the end rather than do what I did there. So let's see. Slayton says it took 6 weeks, but Liam finally gave up on his Jonnu Smith shares. Yeah, I don't think we all thought that that Washington was going to eat Jonnu and Freiermuth's lunch, but here we are. Arthur Smith remains undefeated. He does not care about us at all. Arthur Smith does what he wants to do, and it does not help us win fantasy games. So do we want Josh Allen? I'm gonna forego the quarterbacks. Let's do James Cook here. Like Rob, still waiting for the Kyle Pitts post-buy rookie bump. Yeah, good old Kyle Pitts. My God. I will. The problem with tight ends is you can play till you're like 60. It's like being a heavyweight in the UFC. You're like young when you're 34. So we're gonna be stuck with Kyle Pitts for a while, guys. I hate to tell you, man. These tight ends are just they have longevity. They have a lot of longevity here. All right, let's see what Blake Costley does. I would like Drake London. That would be a nice start. If we don't get Drake London, then maybe we pivot to making a Jaden Daniels team. All right, let's do Drake London. We might get Daniels anyway. But at least this way, if this ends up being a Penix team, we can live with it. Penix is the quarterback who tends to go last. So I'm kind of okay with that. We could take Coleman and try to overstack this game if Jack doesn't take him. If he does, we could take Debo. I'm assuming, again, Debo plays. We'll see if that's the case. I said I was going to forego tight end. I will indeed do that. Let's do Keon Coleman. Let's try to build out this game in as big a stack as we can. So let's do Coleman. In the ideal world, this will be a Kyle Pitts team. I know what kind of ideal world involves Kyle Pitts at tight end. It's not that kind of an ugly world, but it's the world we live in. Go AZ Cards. We need to get a bad Roseball advance rate up. Anything less than 50%. Yeah. Well, I knew it was coming down because I had Scatabo on the Thursday Island game, and I have 89% Scatabo. So my advance rate was going to be artificially high. But I do have... Let me make these picks, and then I can pull that up. I'm debating taking Algier and just really hoping this guy doesn't take Kyle Pitts. If he does take Kyle Pitts, that's a little bit of a bummer. I'm not going to lie. Gosh darn it. All right. He took Kyle Pitts. I really wanted to end this team with Algier, Pitts, and Penix, but let's just take Cole Kmet because this J-Wack guy decided he had to go double tight end. So we'll take Cole Kmet, and then we'll end this team with Michael Penix. So that'll wrap this team up because no one can take a quarterback. So this team will be Penix, Cook, Algier, London, Coleman and Cole Kmet. I don't mind this team for a primetime Palooza. I think this is fine. I think this is a nice team. Could it be duped? Yeah, it doesn't look dupey. It doesn't look like a dupey team, but we'll see. It is going to all be 100% owned players. So whenever you do that, you definitely can end up duped. But I am wondering if this kind of Algier pick and this wonky Atlanta overstack without Pitts is going to be the thing people do. All right, let me catch up with chat real quick. Hey Hartman, GM to you. So let me pull up my Badge Bros Brawl exposures. All right, so if we go here, is this how I do it? I don't think I'm on the right screen. Oh my God, what am I doing? All right, if I go back to leaderboard. All right, we go to Badge Bros Brawl. So, yeah, we're advancing 49 of 150 teams, so we're only advancing 40.8%. But I do have Jaden Daniels playing I always spelled Jaden wrong. All right. Yeah, we have 36% Jaden Daniels, so we could see that pop back up because he is we don't have him. So yeah, pretty good advance rate on that so far. A lot due to our king Cam Scatabo here, where we have 107 Cam Scatabo teams and we're advancing 42% of them. So maybe this is our year in the Badge Bros Brawl. We're going to try to be the advance rate leader. Next year, if Herzig does a Badge Bros Brawl fantasy best ball contest, I'll max it for you guys so you can roster me. But we'll see. Only got 120 and didn't quite have the time to max out that one. But really appreciate you all. Really appreciate you all hanging out on this Monday, looking through the slate, figuring it out with me. I had a ton of fun. We're going to be on tomorrow and we're going to do the bigger contest because I know that's what the people want. But again, we're on the road to 300 subs. We're also on the road to Kansas City. So thank you so much for all your support. I've got the best community out there. I truly mean that. Really appreciate you all hanging out with me. So I will see you guys tomorrow and take care, everyone.